Hi guys, welcome to a new video. This is the exercise number 13. This is an humidity and temperature measure using a DHT11 sensor. The goal of this exercise is to measure temperature and humidity using a sensor. Okay, so let's start. First, we open microchip, here we are, and then the MCC. Remember, we are working on a classic mode. And then here we are, the MPLAB code configurator, and then we go to system model here. The clock source on external clock and the 16 MHz. And here in pin manager grid view, we are going to close in the port D the pin 4 here in input. And then we go to pin module to add a label, the PD4 as SIG. Nothing here. So that's everything. We generate the non file, the configuration, and we can close the MCC. Okay, and then, I explained you in the last videos that microchip doesn't have the libraries of the LCD and the sensor. So I'm going to add how. Okay, I look where the project is located. I right click, add existing item, and my teacher sends all the libraries. So I'm going to look where are all the libraries, and I need the libraries of the LCD and the DHT11. I have here is 2 and then these 4. I'm going to, for example, I select one, then on add, and one by one. So I'm going to close because when I did this project, I added. So I add all the libraries. You can see are here. And that's everything. I'm going to start with the code to explain you. That is include MCC generate files is a configuration that we set on the MCC. The include LCD.H is a library to control the LCD screen. Here is a library to handle the DHT11 sensor. Here is a library that provides function to create time delays. And this, in the line 6, is a allows function like a sprintf, which convert numbers into text. And then in the line 8 is a variable that stores the sensor data. Here stores the values to read from the sensor, and the char out str is a character array to show data on the LCD. This is the main function in C++. Here it starts with the code. Here is a time in milliseconds. And then here is to initializes the LCD screen. And this is the time in milliseconds too. And then here in the while, that is an infinite loop. So this is a one that is going to repeat infinite times. Okay, the if, this reads the DHT sensor and stores the data in DHT11 data here. And then these two, this is going to store the temperature and humidity values in their respective variables. And then the sprintf, this converts the number into text. And then the LCD Gotoxi, this moves the cursor to row 1, column 1. And this is going to show the temperature. And this is the same, but about the humidity. And the delay, that is the time in millisecond, that is the time that will show everything of this, the temperature and humidity. And this is everything for the code, so let's go to the simulation. Okay guys, and then we open Proteus to start with the simulation. Okay, we add the ATmega 328p, and then we add the sensor, that is the DHT11. VDD goes to power and GND goes to ground. The data goes to the ATmega in the PD4, that is the pin that we set on the MCC. And then we add two resistors of 4,700 ohms. The first resistor goes to PC5 and the second to PC4. And then we add the PCF 8574 and we connect. The SEL goes to the first resistor and the SDA goes to the second resistor. And A0, A1, and A2 we connect to ground. And then we add the LCD and the connections. P0 goes to RS, P1 to RW, P2 to E, P4 to D4, P5 to D5, P6 to D6, and P7 to D7. And finally, the button of reset, that is to start again with the simulation. And then we are going to open again the microchip, and then, for example, I have here the code. We do a double click on the library, that is the LCD.H, and here I need to have active this line to the simulation. For example, if I do the physical circuit, I'm going to active the line 6, but in this case, just the line 7, sorry. Okay, I have this okay. So I'll go again to Proteus, I'll double click on Add Mega. Okay, and we upload the code in point L, and then the 60 megahertz, we accept, and we can play to see the temperature and humidity. Okay, here it detects, it depends of the sensor, and for example, I can change, and in the LCD, it will show the humidity and temperature, and for example, I can change here, and it changed. So this is everything for this video. In the next video, you are going to see the physical circuit, and you can see how I'm going to detect the temperature and humidity with fire and ice. So see you. Bye.